What up, everybody? Welcome back to another Tuesday night edition of Cafecito and Canes. Some of you might recognize my guest tonight. You know him from the UHeard podcast with Joe, and part of the. Is it part of Team Miami Flow, or you guys have like your own channel? I always forget.
We always have so how we do, we dual stream with Flow's channel every 2 weeks for Florida Culture. So it's its own separate show, own separate entity, but we stream it to both channels since we already have the audience. There was no sense of like making another channel.
Got it. Cool. So if you're not familiar with Ben, I'm sure most of you in the chat are, but if you're not, there you go. You can go check out their stuff. But yeah, we now officially, as of I guess Sunday night around 11 p.m., it is now the off season for real. Like there's no football happening aside from a 7-on-7 or a camp here and there. There's no games happening now until August.
Yep.
It sucks on one hand, but the good thing is college football never really sleeps, especially nowadays with recruiting and stuff. But overall, how you feeling about how Mario's offseason's going so far now heading into year 3?
Offseason seems like it has a better footing, like a better foundation than it has in the past. Like it's just like minor staff movements. Like we're waiting on a DB coach. I know news broke today all over everything. 2 guys were on campus getting interviewed. So it just feels like it's starting to head in the right direction. But like I also don't like the early rankings, like the way too early rankings of like what we might be and like all these things happening. I was like, bro, it's February. Like can we at least do way too early in spring? I say that, and we do way too early on our show. But it's headed in I feel like it's headed in the right direction, and you just kind of look, man. We're battling with the big boys. We're not trying to flip a guy from Arkansas State late in the game or App State or something like that. So when you start battling with the big boys, it's a different feeling because we have. When was the last time we had that, John? Like I can't remember a time before social media was a thing.
I mean,
so,
it's before social media. Good. I would say the latter Larry Coker days where we're, coming off a couple national championship appearances. And yeah, like 04, 03, 04, 05, we're like landing the top quarterback in the nation, the top running back in the nation. We kind of had our pick at that point, but it didn't, as we know, it didn't pan out back then.
No, it did
and
not.
we've been kind of trying to recover ever since, but hey, it's crazy how a head coach that knows how to build and some money, how far that can go in a couple of years.
You know what? One thing I was thinking about, bro, before we jumped on, I was like, it's nice that we didn't have an administration to overreact to the first 2 seasons, right? Where in the past was like, oh, we messed up. Let's cut the money off. We went wrong. I don't know what we were thinking. There's no scared money with it. I think that's one of the things I was saying. I was like, they could have cut the funding. We're like, you're stuck with the staff you got. We're not getting anybody else. If you do, you got to go cheap. Don't reach for nobody else. Stop with that. Like, there's no scared money. Like they're like, yeah, we're all in. Like for real. Like it wasn't just like a one-off season in 2022. So I found that really like settling. You know what I mean? Like I was like, okay, they're really about this life.
Well, I feel like the administration, at least the ones that weren't too familiar with how to build a program, they were explained, listen, this is what Mario's going to come in and do. For better or worse, he's going to come in and build a program. We are in bad shape. This is, going back to 2021. This is the conversation I'm sure they had. Look, we need money. We are in bed to really jumpstart this thing. We need a lot of money and we need patience. You got to give them like 3 to 5 years. And we're heading into year 3 now. It's starting, that roster's taking shape now. The other day, I saw a clip floating around Greg McElroy's show, who I think he has a show called like Unfiltered
CFB Nation, something like that. Yeah,
College Football Unfiltered, something like that. Search Greg McElroy's show on YouTube, you'll find it. But yeah, he was interviewing somebody, and he did like half our games this past season as a color analyst. So he would be the right person to ask. He saw a lot of our games. And he basically said kind of reiterating what we've been saying. And mind you, he's a non-partial third party, that Miami's 2023 in Miami was kind of like 2022 FSU. They were building the roster. They were right there. They were kind of learning how to win. And we absolutely gift wrapped a few games that we shouldn't have. The win was right there. But yeah, that's usually what happens before things take off. You know, I've seen it happen with a couple of FSU teams in the past that they're like right there, and then the next year they take off, like right before Jameis Winston, you know?
Yeah. But it's always like a one-off, right? Like it's never like a consistent thing with them. Not to like poo-poo them, but like it's always like they only go all in for one season. Like there's never like, oh, look at what we're gonna do. Like Mario's like, no, this is what we're going to do. This is who we're going to be. Like, hey, we're all in on 2012 or whatever it was, crab legs and all. This is it. This is the year we win. There wasn't no 2013 plan. There wasn't no 2014. Like Mario's talking to guys like recruits in like 2027. You know what I mean? Like having camps for them for the 7. Like he's thinking that far ahead. Like it's different. But again, it takes a lot of patience though, right? Because we're not thinking 2027. We're like, yo, 2024, like now. Like we need 9-10 wins now, and let's get crazy.
Well, I think that's why he put all his chips in for Cam Ward.
For sure.
Which me included, I was like, dude, cut your losses, go after Will Howard, go after somebody else, you know?
Yeah, me too.
But to his credit, stuck with it. I mean, no one knew the conversations that were being had behind the scenes. You know, we all found out afterwards that like, hey, like the understanding was he was coming on board and then things changed at the 11th hour and then, you know, whatever. Thankfully it worked out. But yeah, now we're in a position where I think obviously as far like this team will go as far as Cam Ward will take them. Yep. The floor has certainly been raised with the roster that we had. Even without Cam Ward, I think we were at least a solid like 7 to 8 win team. Minimum with Jakari Brown. But you're bringing Cam Ward now. That kind of takes the top off this thing. It gets serious now. But take out Cam Ward for a second. He's the obvious one. Like he's, you know, the most important guy.
Yeah, the most important player.
Yeah. But besides him, who is somebody that you're looking? It could be offense or defense. Who is somebody that you're looking at that's like, man, if obviously Cam needs to have a good season, but if this dude takes off, then things can really, really get nuts.
Bro, like, so you sent me this question earlier in the day because, you know, we all do the same show, right? Like, we send each other our bullet points, like, save your answers for the show. We cook on that one. For me, bro, like, I've been thinking about it because we've had similar questions on our show. And this name popped into my head and it's just been, like, rattling in there. AEM Mesidor. Because if you put somebody on the opposite side of Ruben Bain is a monster, right? Or opposite side of Nigel Lee. Like, there's no double teams on him anymore. Right? Like that, you can't, because AEM Mesidor was a monster in his first season. You know what I'm saying? So you put AEM Mesidor to cook, that D line takes so much pressure off that secondary that we do have the questions about because our 2 safeties are gone. That clock gets a lot faster for a lot of those quarterbacks. So if AEM Mesidor like cooks and comes back healthy, I don't know if he's going to be ready for the spring or not, but he comes back healthy, that changes the entire defensive line dynamic. Because then you're way deeper. Then you're way deeper because he's possibly a 1st or 2nd round pick. You know what I'm saying? Like he was scouted out that 2 years ago. So that's if he cooks, that D line is just going because you got JHH that took steps forward. To me, he's a key piece on the defensive side because he can play inside, play outside. Do a speed package with him. AEM Mesidor, I think, is the guy on that. He just like I was like, damn, bro, who is it? I was like. First name AEM Mesidor. I was like, holy shit, I'm just gonna rock with it.
Mesidor is a good one, man, because we missed him for 11 out of the 12 games last year. Pretty much the whole season.
Yeah.
And of course, like you said, him and then Nigel Lee Kelly came to mind. Man, if either one of those guys stays healthy, we're gonna be in great shape. But the guy that I was thinking more D tackle, interior line. The guy that came to mind was CJ Clark. And I'm going to tell you why. First of all, I feel like CJ Clark a lot of the time was playing out of position at NC State. I feel like he's going to be playing, 4-3 D tackle. I think that's the right spot for him. And, he's the right physical build that they look for at that position that they didn't really have last year. I think he's going to have a solid year, but if he can like really step it up and have like, I don't know if this is going to happen, but if he can have, you remember in 2018 when Gerald Willis had that ridiculous year?
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember McIntosh and Kendrick Norton from the year before, they left.
Yep.
In my opinion, they left a year too early. They both should have stayed, but whatever. That's beside the point.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden, that's not going to, I feel like that's going to happen less with us now.
Yeah.
You know, with NIL and all that stuff, that we're going to hang on to guys longer. But anyway, Gerald Willis in 2018, he's like, okay, we need a big year from him. Not only did he give us a big year, that dude was in the backfield like every other play, if you remember. And we had a top 5 defense that year. Our offense couldn't find the end zone, but still, your defense, your D-line carried you to 7 wins by themselves.
Yes, it did.
So if CJ Clark can give you that kind of contribution, I mean, an already solid defense, I think, turns into an elite defense because you have Ruben Bain, like you said, on the other side. You have Nigel Kelly and Mesidor. One of those two is going to be healthy. You know, logic would say that one of the two is going to be healthy. And if you have, I mean, how frustrating is it for an offense when you snap the ball and the D tackle's in your face in like 0.5 seconds?
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? You got the best corner tandem, I think, in the ACC with Porter and Damari Brown. I'm calling it right now.
Yeah.
If not, they're like one or number 2. And they help each other because if you got a D-line that gets to the quarterback quickly, that helps the corners. And then sometimes if they don't get there right away, your corners are going to give you coverage sacks. So they kind of feed off each other.
Yep.
So I don't know. I think if you get a big contribution from the D tackle spot, I mean, that sets off like a chain reaction because then the linebackers have more room to roam. The safeties then in turn have more room to roam. It helps everybody.
Yeah.
But yeah, that I think I don't know about you, but I think going into Guidry's second year, everybody's worried about losing the 2 safeties. How are you feeling about the safety situation with 2 new starters? Are you think the system will kind of play out, or what are you thinking there?
I would feel worse about it if we didn't have underclassmen already being in the system, like a Markeith Williams and Jaden Harris. Like, look, Markeith, we talked about it. You guys talk about it on Flow Show on Sundays. You talked about it on your show on Tuesdays. I think Jaden Harris, man, being hurt for that Rutgers game played a big part. Because remember, Cam was hurt for 1 or 2 games during the season. You didn't really notice a drop off in that secondary when Jaden Harris was in there. Right, like for the most, like he didn't make the Cam plays, but he's like played solid starter minutes, right? Starter snaps. So that's the experience that he gained last year. Hopefully, he's healthy heading into spring. We don't know how bad the injury is because we don't know anything that happens inside that building. They never tell us shit. So, I'm not as worried about it. If Markeith Williams puts on some weight, like another 10, 15 pounds in this offseason, like good solid weight, and then you have the transfers coming in. Then you have 4 guys that could solidly play safety. Now remember, these are guys that Guidry picked out. Goes Guidry, I want him and him. NIL made it happen. That's what we do because we play our guys the right way. That's why they have a Twitter, and we'll talk about brochures later. We'll talk about that. But yeah, like I'm not as worried about it as I thought I would be because I saw Jaden Harris last year in spring. That guy was all over the field. He was a tackling machine, bro. Like he didn't miss a single tackle, so I'm not as worried. I'm very high on Jaden Harris. I think he'll be a starter. Very early prediction. Who knows what happens, yada, yada, for spring. And then we'll see. But yeah, I'm not as worried about it as I thought I would be as you get to see the guys more and know more about them and what they're about. What about you?
I mean, Mish Powell is an impact dude, in my opinion. I wasn't too worried before they got him because, like you said, they had Jaden Harris, Markeith. You had some guys to work with. I thought they were going to be solid and, understanding the system because it is a difficult system to learn. And for them to be as good as they were year 1, I'm like, man, how's this going to look year 2, year 3 when they really have an understanding of it and guys have a chance to hit the weight room and all that stuff. Also, you got Caleb Spencer, you got Pruitt, you got guys to work with, but then they went out and got Mish Powell.
Yep.
And I'm like, this guy's fresh out of the national championship game. This dude was making plays for one of, if not the best team in the country. So
Yeah.
they went and got him. Riley, I was happy about. I think to start the season, they'll be the starters if Jaden Harris makes his way into the starting lineup during the season.
I think they'll get snaps. Get snaps. Yeah.
No, they'll get snaps for sure. There'll be a nice little. Now they have like a solid 4-man rotation, which is what you want. No. But speaking of, you just hinted at it now. We'll dive right in because I've been wanting since this story broke. I'm like, man, I'm glad my show's Tuesday, so not too much time is going by. Brett Bielema, I think is his name.
Yeah.
The we're only going to talk about him once and then never again because really the guy does not deserve the attention.
He does not. This
freaking guy is, I mean, as mediocre as Miami football's been the last 20 years, Illinois has been hot trash.
Yeah.
During that same amount of time, they have nothing to brag about, and this dude,
he's been hot trash. He's been hot trash too, though.
I don't even know, nor do I care to look. I don't even know how long he's been the coach, but you kind of, whoever might not know, you know, if you want to fill him in really quick and what your thoughts are on the situation. Like what happened?
I went off on his Twitter. I called him a coward. I called him a child. I called him a con man. I don't trust anybody who chooses to have a widow's peak in this day and age where you can get, get a lineup. It's just unacceptable as a man. He's 54 years old, bro. He retweeted a picture of a young man that was never going to play on his team, talking about a brochure. It was just childish, bro. Like he's been irrelevant as long as I can remember. And I love that Mario collab back, but it was like, dude, it was unnecessary on every level. Because like, what do you stand to gain? Like, I've already gone on my rant with him. We talked about it last night before. The coach was like, what, as a 54-year-old man in the NIL period, right? Unless you're going to go be an OL coach like you did before when the college football didn't want you. You know what I mean? You got to had a 1-year standing with the Cowboys. Because I looked him up. I was like, I wonder what he's done. Has a solid overall record. Very slanted because of his first Wisconsin years with Barry Alvarez. Built that team when Barry Alvarez was killing it with Ron Dane and all that. It's very much so Ryan Day, where like right after all those recruits are gone, it's trash because that's all he's been. Got fired everywhere he's been. It was unnecessary and like he's a bitch, bro. Like there's no reason to be 50. There's no reason to be 54 and act like that. Like I would never, like, I'm 40. I'm about to be 40. I'm not gonna tweet out the picture of a kid and say something bad ever. Like it's just stupid. Now, John, what are your thoughts on it?
Well, first of all, did he tweet a picture of himself or did he retweet?
He retweeted Canes Connection.
Canes Connection.
He retweeted. Yeah.
Because
they've been putting out the last couple of days since like Monday. It's like Sunday, like the guys who they signed to Canes Connection. You know what I'm saying? That's our NIL. You know what I'm saying? That's our NIL people who I donate to. I donate to Flows. Anybody who does NIL, I'm gonna give money to because if I'm gonna be talking as much as I am, I'm gonna put my money on it. You know what I mean? Like, so that's the way it is. So like it's obvious who they are. Like if you want some PowerPoint presentation, we'll give it to him. Because John Ruiz did it last year to all of college football, and they were still doing dumb shit. So yeah, what did you think when you saw that, man?
I mean, not much different from what you said. I mean, you said it better than I could have. I mean, it's pathetic, and it's similar to what Brett Venables said last year. Like
the two Bretts.
It's like, dude, like we don't play each other. We're not at the same conference. Like the question that was, and I'm talking about Venables last year. That was like around this time last year.
Yeah.
He was asked a question, and then it was almost the question basically was, why did you suck so bad last year? Not in so many words. And it's like, well, yeah, we sucked, but Miami, they were even worse. Go pay attention to them. It's kind of like, taking shots at us losing to Middle Tennessee State or whatever. It's like, bro, the question wasn't about Miami. It had nothing to do with us. We don't play you. We're not rivals. We haven't been rivals since the 80s. And this was even worse because it was like, okay, at least Oklahoma's another big brand name program. And Venables and Mario both got there at the same time, and they both had 5-7 records. I guess I get the comparison. Still, it was kind of out of left field. This was like even more out of left field because, bro, our backups would beat you guys by 30. Like, let's be honest.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
you want to bring up the Rutgers game? Okay, fine. Rutgers would kick your guys' ass. Like,
Yeah, definitely. Let me ask you, man. Like, why do you think? Like, we talked about it yesterday. I want your opinion because you're a thoughtful person with this type of stuff. Why do you think so many coaches like go out of their way to do it? You know, because it's again like it's unprompted, right? Like nobody's on the show like, hey man, what do you think about Brett Venables? That makes sense to respond to. But like, hey John, what do you think about water? Nah, man, let me tell you about Miami. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't understand why we're at the forefront of their minds when we don't even have them on the schedule. Like Florida State. I get we go back and forth with those fans, yada yada yada. We're in the state, we crush them in recruiting. When we've had 2 bad years, you know what I'm saying? Whatever.
We're about to crush them in the swamp. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. 831. You know what I'm saying? But it doesn't make sense, right? Like, why are they scared? Is my question to you. Why are these like random ass coaches scared?
This started ever since Mario got hired, if you haven't noticed. Every offseason, it's like there's a new one. So when this happened a couple of days ago, I'm like, oh, here we go again. It's the offseason. Yeah.
Remember Saban?
Well, Saban, he knows from experience. He knows how hard what a workhorse Mario is on the recruiting trail. He worked with him. He taught him. Like, he's like, oh man, if this guy gets funding at Miami, watch out. Like, I'm sure, because that's what people are saying now. Like, non-partial third parties, not the haters. Yeah, it's just like I feel like some guys are just bored. They have nothing else to do, and they're like, let's take a shot at Miami. Like, no one asked.
No one asked, bro.
Literally, no one asked, and they're the same ones that say we're irrelevant. I'm like, you guys bring it up, like,
and they constantly tell us we're irrelevant. Nobody asked you, bro. Nobody was asking the question if you thought Miami was relevant or not. Miami was irrelevant, like it's a Tourette's or some shit.
Like I've been saying since 2021 or 2022 when he got hired, January, whatever it was. Like, keep calling us irrelevant. Get this shots in while you can.
Yeah, he's obsessive, bro, with this recruiting. It's never seen anything like it. And you said it at the beginning. There's no off season. Like we're getting ready we got spring in a month, and we're getting ready to talk about that. We got recruiting that never stops. So there's always something going on. 200 days. Wow, thanks 904 for putting it like that. I didn't. You could have broke it down into like how many Saturdays. It's a lot less number.
You know what though? The summer goes by really fast. Before we know it, it's going to be like April. You know, it'll go by quick. I know.
Yeah, absolutely.
From Ocala Kane, do you think JoJo can start at X with George at Z and Restrepo at the slot? I don't think JoJo's going to start right away, but of the 3 new guys coming in, I see JoJo making an impact for sure. I think he'll be in that like 5-man rotation. And
if they rotate receivers, I'll be so happy. I'll be so happy.
No, they will. I mean, our 3 starters, Young, George, and Restrepo, they both played so well and were so hot to start the season. I understand why you stick with them, and that was kind of like the old school way of doing things. But you rotate, you keep guys fresh. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
They look. You have those guys. You have a Kobe Young who's a bigger guy, fresh in the fourth quarter, makes bigger plays instead of him getting every single snap. I don't know if JoJo starts right away, but I mean JoJo gets slept on and like almost like crapped on because he's not JJ. You know what I mean? Like he's not like that's the whole like anti thing of him. But bro, JoJo's a problem, man. Like we haven't had a receiver like him and Nye Carr. I think Nye Carr contributes early. He's already on any early enrollees. I have on my list of watch guys for sure.
I mean, look how many freshmen played this past season. I mean, this team knows how to scout and knows how to identify guys that can make an impact right away because you need that. That 10 years ago, 15 years ago, it was like, okay, you're going to sit for a year or 2 because you didn't have to worry about them going anywhere. Now you're like, okay, I need to get a freshman that's going to play, get some snaps right away, make an impact, and know they have a home on this team. Because notice, of the guys leaving, who have been Mario's guys that he's brought in? Not many.
Just 2.
Just 2. The rest have all been from the past regime.
Yeah.
So they know how to identify. Go ahead.
Let me ask you one question. Who do you have in the hypothetical, like going into spring, right? Like you have the top 3, which is Zay Horton, X, and Oh, my guy, Flo. What up, family?
Mhm.
Yeah, hit that like button, man. It's like he's doing Ken and UHeard cooking over here. So you got Zay Horton, Restrepo, and Cole and Jacoby. Who do you have behind Jacoby?
Yeah, we have a bit of a depth issue, I think.
Yeah.
With experience, guys, I think we have bodies, we have talent, but some of it's unproven. So you got 3 true freshmen coming in. They're studs, all 3 of them, but they're freshmen. Right now, honestly, right now I have JoJo kind of leapfrogging whoever is on the back end, like Redding and Shamar Kirk and guys like that, because that's who you're looking at behind those starting 3, unless I'm forgetting somebody.
I would put hypothetically, I would put Shamar behind X and Ray, like in that mix.
Yeah, he's a slot. Yeah,
he's a slot. He's yakking like crazy. I would put I just had the name, bro. I'd put receiver Robbie Washington behind the Jacoby George. Because we get so excited with the new guys, right? We forget we got beasts last year too. Like
right. I knew I was forgetting somebody.
Yeah, they're young and inexperienced. So yeah, it's the unknown.
Look, I was excited when Robbie Washington committed last year. I'm like, that dude could be a weapon. Kickoff returns. He's got great straight line speed. Yeah, no, hopefully he keeps developing his game and his body. Chance Robinson's another guy. Physically, he's not built like a freshman right now. He can also come in and make an impact. And speaking of JoJo getting slept on, I was listening to Larry Bluestein yesterday talk about him a little bit. I mean, Blue is the source for this kind of thing. He's probably saw that kid play more snaps than anybody on planet Earth, other than his coaches.
Probably held him as a baby, or you know what I mean? Like was like at his christening.
He literally knows these guys when they're 8, 9 years old playing Pop Warner. Yeah. You know, he's like, he's been playing alongside JJ since he was a kid. But JoJo's one of those guys that he's not only an elite receiver, he is an elite corner as well. He could be a shutdown corner if he wanted to be.
Yeah,
he had a 96-yard pick 6 in some playoff game that they played this past season.
Semifinal, I think it was at Blue State.
Yeah, so it was an important game towards the end of the season. I don't think it was States, but it was like towards the end of the season. Yeah, he's almost as good a corner as he is a receiver, which is crazy. But yeah, right now, Chance, JoJo, maybe Robbie. Those are the guys I have behind the X and Z receivers. Yeah, behind the starting 3. We need to go out and get experience for sure. We need to go out and get another experienced guy. We need to use our tight ends, please. I want to see that happen. Yeah. And 904 Hurricane was just saying it. Need another big receiver. Horton is unproven. I thought Horton did a good job with the throws that were made to him.
Yes, I think so. Again, it comes with experience and time, or it comes with snaps. Like a lot of these guys, we don't know. We do, you know what I'm saying? Like you get the proven guy for somewhere else, but a lot of these guys can get pushed down because they might never get the snaps. It's the argument that we all had for JB11, right? Like, is it the snaps or what? Like, what are we? Like, we got to know what they are at some point, because like if they go off and then they ball out somewhere else, and we never gave them the time, then we have questions. Got to give them the snaps. Not necessarily start. Not saying bench X and the whole argument. No, I'm saying they need snaps. We'll rotate your guys and find out what you have on tape and live with live bullets.
Yeah. Now, who do you think might surprise people in the spring? Who do you think is a guy that maybe some people aren't paying attention, or this guy's getting slept on?
Offense or defense?
Offense or defense? If you want to go one of each, up to you.
Okay. I don't want to say slept on. I just want to see it because we don't know. Travante Citizen.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, if he's healthy, bro. Like, I saw that dude live, like in person. That guy's body's ridiculous. Like, just he looks like he's always wearing football pads. Like, it's just he's built different. And on the defensive side, man, who I want to see get serious snaps is Popo. Him and Marcellus Pulliam, man. There's size at linebacker. I don't know when the last time we had size like that at linebacker. I'm saying like the 230, 240 range, nasty size. You know what I mean? Like we've always get like the slimmer guy that can get sideline, which is cool. But like, you need that guy to be like, oh, I should never run up the middle ever again if I get past the D line. Like that shit hurt. I didn't like that at all. We need that guy. So yeah, that's Popo. I don't want to say Popo slept on, but that's the guy I'm keeping my eye out on, as possibly, you know what I'm saying, taking some serious snaps away from guys who have been getting them.
Yeah. Speaking of the linebackers, it's not just size, it's the speed and athleticism to go with it.
Yeah.
Because it was always like, before it was usually one or the other. When you said that a minute ago, I thought of Sean Spence immediately. Now, Sean Spence was special.
Yes.
You know, went on to play for the Steelers, had some good years with them. Sean Spence was special, but a lot of them were like that body type. It's like, bro, a guy like that comes around once every 15, 20 years.
Yeah. That man could read the offense, bro. Sean Spence was a different animal. If that guy was like an inch or two bigger and like 10, 15 pounds, that guy's a top 10 pick. That guy was ridiculous, Sean Spence.
Yeah, right out of the gate as a freshman.
Yeah.
Right out of the gate. He was I met him once. 6 foot. He was my height. 6 foot, 200 pounds, maybe 205.
Yeah, on a good day. Yeah,
on a good day with a sandwich in his pocket, you know, with shoes on, you know,
it's soaking wet with rain boots on. No, it's crazy.
No. But his ability to read plays, like diagnose a screen and just blow it up, sick. And for you younger fans, maybe, you know, this was a good 12, 15 years ago now. Go look up Sean Spence Miami highlights. He was nasty.
Yeah, that was on Northwestern 4, right? That was Travis Benjamin, J12. Marcus
Travis Benjamin was Belgrade. He wasn't Northwestern.
Who was the other receiver?
Aldarius Johnson and Tommy Streeter.
Yes. Yeah.
And Tommy Streeter, who didn't play until his final season, which is insane. He was ridiculous. Brandon Washington was an offensive lineman from that Northwestern 7. Kendall Tompkins, I think, was on that team.
Yeah, Marcus Forson, yeah.
Oh, Marcus Forson. Marcus Forson could have been a first rounder.
Oh my God! Oh, bro, yes.
That one hurts.
That one hurts. That one hurts still, bro. I was like, I thought that guy was gonna be.
And Aldarius too. After his freshman season, Aldarius, I was like, this is a first rounder. But
and then
he had injuries. It didn't work out. But anyway, to answer my first question, I don't want to have you on too long. But the guys that I think. A couple guys that come to mind that might be getting slept on. And not so much that they're getting slept on because this one guy had a good season last year, but he kind of gets lost in the shuffle because Jalen Rivers took attention away. Matt Lee took kind of the spotlight away. Hestus Cooper, to me, is a future. That guy is an NFL All-Pro in the making.
Yeah. Well, oh my God, that guy's ridiculous.
Hestus
I love
Cooper,
that guy. Pause. I love him, bro. Pause.
Bro, that dude, half the time, he's holding guys off with one hand, just like yawning. Bro.
My favorite Hestus Cooper story, real quick, is just the fact how he reshaped his body. Like, that's it to me. Like, how dedicated he was at 17. He was like, I got to lose like 60 pounds or else I'm never going to be nothing. But yeah, that's a great shot there. Yeah, because he gets forgotten with like the 5 stars, and the guys coming in is like, oh, but he's a 3-star guy, but that is a first-round pick, probably like. Maybe second-round pick because he's a guard.
Yeah. Interior guy, unless they kick him out to tackle or something. But if you leave him at guard, he's going to be what Navon Donaldson should have been. You know. Yeah. I see him being like a second round. He'll be a guard in the league for like 10 years. He'll dominate. Yeah. And Hestus Cooper gets slept on quite a bit, just because he kind of gets forgotten about. 904 Hurricane Malik Bryant. That's a good one. I'm excited to see him. Sure. Oh, yeah. I think he might need another year. I feel like Popo and Pulliam are a little more ready than he is.
Yeah. Well, it's also who's in front of him, though. Like, how do you can't take Kiko off you can't take Kiko off. You could move out West, like when you put West like in, I don't know, in certain player packages, you put the other 2 guys in for certain packages. When you want to go big or whatever, when you're in the goal line. Yeah, but I don't know how you take Kiko out.
No, you don't. And then can we ask this? Do we have a Heisman contender on this team right now, including 2024 class, within the next 4 years? Well, I guess if Cam Ward just goes off and puts up stupid numbers,
which he's capable of, yes,
he is capable of doing that. So you never know. Our quarterback, maybe. Let me think. Mark Fletcher, I think, is going to be a great running back. I don't see Heisman though. You need that like electric.
I think that's predominantly like almost just reserved for quarterbacks, bro. Like it's very rare that like somebody outside of.
I mean, Devontae Smith just won the Heisman. I mean, I know it's rare.
Yeah. Yeah, it's rare though. Yeah.
I'm trying to think. And a defensive player, that's like you just never see that, which is a shame because I thought Ndamukong Suh should have won the Heisman.
Yeah. Oh, what he did at Nebraska was ridiculous. Yeah. Yeah. 100%.
Yeah. But do we have a?
Yeah. Within the next 4 years, I can't project that out. I'm not even going to try Mitchell. Like to see who's going to develop into what in 4 years. I mean, Ruben Bain. Like if he keeps on this trajectory, like freshman All-American, but again, defensive players don't pan out like that.
No, I will. We'll do this. How about this? We'll say who on this team do you think is a first rounder? That now you might have a handful of guys.
Yeah. That's a handful. Because you got just on the offensive line. Yeah, I got CC. CC's a first rounder to me.
Yes, I agree.
Jalen Rivers not quite, maybe like a second or third, just because he's bounced around a lot on the on the line.
Yeah, he's like a third, I think.
Yeah. So I mean, two first rounders is. When was the last time we had that? So I'm good with those. Those
that you're like
freshmen.
Confident about. Yeah, that you're confident about. CC and Bain. If they're not first rounders, it's like what happened.
Mm-hmm. We failed. The plan failed.
Yeah, exactly. Oh yeah, Honey Badger at LSU should have been considered for the Heisman for sure.
Yeah, he was a problem. Honey Badger was crazy.
Oh, nasty. Trying to think who else might be first round potential, like first round ceiling. Maybe Damari. He's got potential.
Yeah.
Damari Brown.
Yeah, Damari Brown does have very serious potential. Zaquan.
Ooh, yeah. I mean, he hasn't stepped on the field yet. I want to hold back before I say that.
No, but I'm saying just going off potential. Like we're not I'm not. Yeah. We saw a couple snaps with Damari. We saw it, but yeah, I think Zaquan. Look, man, I think Ryan Mack gets slept on just because I know he got that late 4-star. I think if Ryan Mack is in early enrollee and St. Thomas doesn't do that stuff where you have to do the full year, I think Ryan Mack is a serious conversation for getting some starter minutes, some starting snaps, bro.
Ryan Mack reminds me a little his style of play. He reminds me a little bit of Brandon Harris. You remember him?
I swear, I knew you were gonna say that, bro. I swear to God, I knew you were gonna say that. That's exactly who he reminds me of. Smaller guy, but always in the right place at the right time.
Yes,
numero uno, bro. Yeah,
legacy dude, and he you can't teach. Oh, I guess you can teach always being in the right place, but to a certain degree, it's like instinct. Some guys just have it. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And Ryan Mack has that. 904 Hurricane. Hey, man, if that maybe JB11, if that comes to fruition, bro, we're in great shape.
Then that plan worked. And we had to take back all of the last 6 months of podcasting that I did.
Oh my God.
Why isn't he getting snaps, bro? Nothing? But yeah, JB11. Oh, that would be fantastic.
Yeah, man. But yeah, no, I think we'll end on that. It's about 8:40. But I appreciate you coming on, Ben, as always, to chop it up a little bit. And anything you want to throw in, anything you want to let the people know about content you guys got coming up?
Yeah, show will be on tomorrow. Joe will be on there. I'll be taking a day off. You know what I'm saying? I put in my leave request. You know what I'm saying? I'll be off tomorrow. It is, Valentine's. Sunday we'll be back. We'll be doing our top 5 defensive linemen to look out for heading into spring. We just did the top 5 offensive line, the starters and the rotational guys. We debated on the show and we've settled it out. UHeardPodcast.com as always, man. Check it out for the merch. We write articles on there. You know what I'm saying? I'm slowly getting that together. Hey, man, it was dope, Cafecito, man. Anytime you want to come on the show, bro, with us, man, let me know and we got you.
Hey, sounds good, brother. All right, man. You know what it is. It's all about you. Go Canes.
Always, man. Always.